G'day, Giordano here from the Juice Media, here with our wrap-up for Season 3 of the Honest Government Ads, some thoughts about what's in store in Season 4, and most importantly, bloopers and behind the scenes from the past year of Honest Government Ads. First of all, huge thanks to all our patrons for helping us cover a huge range of topics in Season 3, from bullshit nuclear policies to bullshit whistleblower protection laws, bullshit environment protection laws, bullshit anti-protest laws, bullshit FOI laws, bullshit Reserve Bank policies, bullshit electoral reforms, and more. We've had awesome guests. YouTube academic Sabrina Fernandez did the voiceover for our Visit Brazil episode, obrigado. Twitch streamer Pixel Smixel hosted our SCOTUS episode. Punters Politics, a brilliant new voice in our Ozpol satire scene, cameoed in our Environment Act episode, and Burmese refugee Injin bravely fronted our Visit Myanmar episode like a boss. Huge respect. We covered state politics, from WA state capture by the mining industry to Tassie's capture by the toxic salmon industry. Topics we'll keep covering. And we've covered plenty of international shitfuckery, from US-owned pipelines on unceded indigenous lands in Canada to Japan's attempt to prosecute fucking legend Paul Watson. From the real risks posed by AI to Israel's genocide in Gaza, a topic we need to focus on more, particularly our own government's role in it. We covered Brazil's 2022 election, the UK's 2023 election, the USA's 2024 shit show, Canada's 2025 election, plus touched on 15 other elections in our special episode about the decline of democracy. An episode which the Indian government unironically blocked and threatened to jail us for, thereby making the point better than we ever could. We get so many requests from people around the world to make honest ads for their governments, and it's my hope that in Season 4 we can do more of that. But Aussie politics will still be the main focus of this channel, so I thought I'd share a few words about what we hope to cover in Season 4. First of all, I just want to acknowledge some positive takeaways from our recent election, ones we shouldn't take for granted as the world spirals deeper into the enshittenment. 1. Australians told MAGA politics to fuck off, and for this we should all feel some true Aussie pride. 2. We overwhelmingly trust our elections and democracy. Again, something we should never take for granted, as America is learning the hard way right now. 3. We have a great voting system, regardless of the outcome. 4. News Corp's toxic influence has been sidelined. 5. The shit party has been consigned to political irrelevancy. And 6. We now have a government that has nothing left standing between it and genuinely ambitious reforms on climate, environment, whistleblower protection, transparency, ending native forest logging and gambling ads, and more. Which is why keeping up the pressure, rather than patting Labour on the dick for cosplaying its way through its second term, will determine whether we see some of those reforms or business as usual for the next 3 years. And by now I hope you know you can always count on us here at the Juice Media to cover the shitfuckery, no matter who's in government. Something I'd like to focus on more in Season 4 is the Senate, where Australians voted to give our government a clear path for passing progressive legislation if it wants it. There'll be plenty of bullshit flying around, which is why one of the first episodes I'd like to make is an explainer of the Senate's role, which, as our government's own website helpfully explains, is to keep in check the government of the day. So it's a bit rich when governments complain about the Senate getting in the way. That's the Senate doing its job, and we're fortunate to have it. When I told a friend in Canada about our voting system, he replied, "You vote for the Senate?" In Canada, he explained, the PM appoints senators, and their job is mainly to rubber stamp legislation. So let's appreciate our powerful elected Senate. Another issue I want to focus more on in Season 4 is climate and environment policy. This was the focus of the Honest Government Ads in Season 1 and 2, when the Coalition was in power. It's when we made our episodes about carbon capture and storage, the gas-fired recovery, carbon credits and offsets, bullshit accounting tricks, all of which were designed to greenwash, prolong and justify the expansion of the fossil fuel industry. But judging by the ongoing expansion of the coal and gas industry, we need to focus more on climate policy going forward. Because despite all the good work Labour is doing on renewables, it's still relying on accounting tricks like land use data to meet its emission targets, still relying on dodgy offsets, and still approving coal mine expansions and massive new gas projects, like the Barossa gas field, the Middle Arm gas hub which will export fracked gas from the Beetaloo Basin. And just the other day, we saw our government extend the life of the massive Northwest Shelf gas project all the way out to 2070. By that year, my kids will be my age, which is why on their behalf, I'd like to say, fuck this shit. Most of the gas from the Northwest Shelf is destined for export, so not only is it not there to ensure stable power supply, as our PM is saying, and if you want to know more about that, I'll link to this piece by Tim Baxter in the video description. It'll also rip off Aussies by paying bugger all royalties for that gas, and further damage the 50,000-year-old Murujuga rock art. So basically, it's a big fuck you to Australia and Indigenous people and the world, especially our Pacific neighbours. Calling out governments that are still approving new coal and gas projects shouldn't be seen as a political stance. It's the science. As the IPCC has said, we can have no new fossil fuel projects if we want to stay below 1.5 degrees of warming. What is political is parroting fossil fuel industry talking points to justify the expansion of fossil fuel projects, like the claim that we need new projects to help us transition to renewables, when in fact, as the IEA reiterates in its latest report, in the 1.5 degree scenario, declines in demand are sufficiently steep that there's no need for investment in new fossil fuel supply, a finding that's supported by other independent research. And yes, that includes coal mine extensions, because the climate doesn't give a shit if emissions come from new holes in the ground or from making old holes bigger. They're still emissions, 2.4 billion tons of them in the case of Labour's coal approvals during its first term. And no, they're not all metallurgical coal mines, as I've seen some people claiming. Labour approved Mount Pleasant, a thermal coal mine, Narrabri, a thermal coal mine, and Lake Vermont, a thermal and met coal mine. But again, the climate doesn't give a shit if emissions come from thermal or metallurgical coal mines, a distinction that's increasingly hard to justify, because whilst metallurgical coal is traditionally needed to produce steel, that doesn't mean we need new coal mines to do so. The world already overproduces steel. There are alternative steel making methods which are emerging. Even Fortescue is leaning into this, but expanding our already huge coal exports reduces the incentive to invest in alternatives, and kinda shits on our aspiration to be a renewable energy superpower. And the claim that if we don't sell the world coal, others will, is another coal industry talking point. And by the way, all the links to the articles I'm citing, I'll stick them in the video description in case you'd like to check them out. I know most Labour voters care deeply about climate action, but calling for more ambitious climate action isn't anti-Labour. If anything, it's pro-Labour, since it invokes the very climate legislation Labour loves being credited for, which states that the 43% emission target is a floor, not a ceiling, a ratcheting mechanism to raise future ambition in bringing down emissions. But it's hard to hold our government to its own policy when it tries to convince us its climate policies are already ambitious, a word that sounds good, but actually means nothing unless you define it. Thankfully, there is a thing in climate analytics called the ambition gap. That's the gap between a government's current policies and the ambition actually needed to meet its commitments under the Paris Treaty. Here's Australia's ambition gap. The fact that it exists is the reason why our current climate policies rate as insufficient on every metric. Sure, they're not as shit as some other developed countries' policies, but they're still shit enough that they're not aligned with 1.5 degrees and need to be significantly improved to do so, which is why we call them shit light. And sure, you can make that ambition gap look smaller with accounting tricks like using dodgy land use data, but that's not ambition, that's just bullshit greenwashing. My guess is lots of Labour MPs also want more ambitious climate action. They just aren't allowed to say so publicly. So when punters say it publicly, we make it easier for those MPs to drive change from within. Whereas praising Labour for being ambitious when it isn't, and justifying its approval of new coal and gas projects, makes it harder for those MPs to speak up. It also undermines the good work this government is doing in other areas, like promoting renewables, Future Made in Australia, and the Capacity Investment Scheme, a great policy that genuinely does deserve praise. And it doesn't help to achieve our emission target, which the government's own climate change authority says are not coming down fast enough. And that's because our domestic emissions are still massive. We emit more than the UK or France, and they're home to 65 million people each. We also export a shitload of coal and gas each year, and the emissions from those exports are 3 times our domestic emissions. And yes, we need to tax gas companies on the billions they make from those exports, but let's not forget that what we really need is to stop digging up the fossil gas in the first place. Because even if we do tax our gas exports like Norway and Qatar do, we still pay for it when that gas is burnt overseas, causing more intense floods here in Australia, and fires, and skyrocketing insurance premiums, and lost lives, species, and habitats. So as we go about putting pressure on government to make gas companies pay their fair share of tax, let's not fall into the trap of further normalizing the destructive fossil fuel industry. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there, and there's so much more to say about all of this, of course. But hopefully that gives you an idea of why I feel we need to focus more on helping people better understand climate, energy, and environment policies going forward in Season 4. But before we launch into a new season, I have a couple of announcements. The first is that over the next period, we'll be taking a short break. As much as I'd like to get stuck in right away, after 9 years of almost non-stop work on the Honest Government ads, I'd like to give myself a chance to think about and explore some new ideas and approaches, which is where I'd like to hear from you. What would you like to see on the Juice Media in Season 4? More international topics? More short-form content that we can put out fast? More rants from me like the one I went on earlier? Deep dives into topics? Interviews with guests? Or just keep keep doing what we do with the Honest Government ads? Let us know in the comments. I also need some time to update our gear. This is the camera we filmed every HGA on. I bought it in 2010, and this year Adobe ended support for the file format it uses. So during our break, I'll be upgrading the Juice rig and workflows to make things more efficient. I might also hire an editor, so hit me up if you're keen. Lastly, I promised our kids I'd take a break after the election, so we could spend more time together and do some special things, including making our own videos, something we've already made a start on. There's a UFO up. Is it beautiful? Okay, I'm gonna shut up now and share our blooper reel. It's a privilege to do this kind of work, and we never take it for granted. So on behalf of all of us here at the Juice Media, I want to thank all our patrons out there who make our work possible, especially our patron producers who support us at the highest level. And if you value our work and want to support us in Season 4, you can do so at patreon.com/thejuicemedia. I want to acknowledge and thank our team, Ellen and Zoe, the brilliant actors who front the Honest Government ads, bringing the scripts to life on the screen, and a special welcome to Liv, who joined the team this year. Thanks to Brent for lending us his superb animation skills, and to all the friends of the show who lend us their time, support and advice. And lastly, thank you to Lucy, who not only does the voiceover for most of the Honest Government ads, sometimes with a small child hanging onto her,
we can now press free.
but is also a loving partner and mother to our two kids, Luca and Juno. I'd like to dedicate Season 3 to them, as they've seen it unfold from behind the scenes for literally half their lives. And because it's in great part for them and their generation that we do this work, even if they don't know it yet. In fact, I think Luca might be a bit confused about what Dad does exactly. I recently overheard him tell his school friends that
my dad works for the government.
Well, that's all from me. We'll catch you at the other end of our break. Until then, enjoy this collection of behind-the-scenes action and bloopers I've collected for you over the past year, and from all of us here at the Juice Media, take care. Ready?
Hello, I'm from the government, where we...
I forgot where I was from.
And that man is Peter Dutton. You might remember Pete from such hits as... Never. Hello, I am from the... These cars in this country, cooler. With this new law, South Australia... So you have the chance, not only of kicking the malignant tuber out...
TikTok 13.
Of course, here at the government...
Great. TikTok 14.
We don't need to worry about AI harming you.
It's too much.
And everyone in Myanmar thinks he's a motherfucker. That's why the people have... Even though he also sides with corporate profits and big...
So, that's...
And if that doesn't work, fuck it. It's Civil War time. The only
Cool and normal.
I'll do it right this time.
Dance 40.
His fitness instructor was live streaming a kick-ass cardio routine. Apart from those FOI requests, the one...
There, yeah. Like, almost like a right angle.
That's very bizarre hand position.
Well, but naturally. What could go wrong? Yeah.
Like this.
But, you know...
Nice work, Yamal. Cheers, you cow. Two-party system. What's that? You didn't know about our dodgy electoral deal? Oh,
I got bubbles on my nose.
do you want to do some more takes with the pumpkin, or you reckon
I'm
that's
good with the pumpkin.
Yeah?
I reckon I'm done with this pumpkin.
Okay, good.
If you're happy.
Bulgarians will be happy.
Great.
like public hearings for the NAP, a ban on gambling ads, an inquiry into AUKUS, a whistleblower protection authority.
I was like, I'm going to stay here because Liv will probably nail this. Nope. I was wrong.
Approximately fuck all when you put all visit Myanmar. Fuck all. But the nice person outside the polling booth gave me this how to vote card. Those are just suggestions from political parties. You can follow them.
You did hit the camera.
Gave me this how to vote card. Those are just suggest how to vote card. Those are just how to vote card. Those vote card. Those gave me this how to vote card. Those are just suggestions from political parties. Cheers, you cow. Two-party system. What's that? You didn't know about our dodgy
Great.
Want to know about our deals with Israel?
Tonight.
Two-party system. What's that? You didn't know about our dodgy electoral deal? Oh.
Good.
Oh, she took a goal. Yeah.
This fish shit sandwich takes a bit of prep, so pay attention, Australia, because it'll...
How did this happen?
Hello, I'm from the Thai government, where we pay the junta billions for gas. Even these bung stains cut their ties.
Luca, you can't just walk across the set when we're filming.
Don't you know we're making a movie?
Sides 18.
We've learned the term, so suck shit, childless cat ladies. Trumpy. And if you're wondering how your kids will ever afford a home, don't worry. Harry will be just to protect our workers and environment. It also has nuclear bans at...
What do you got? Look at that.
which should finish it off for good. And that...
I should be getting better at doing this line the more I do it, and I'm not.
Sure, that might seem unjust, but we've seen other governments prosecuting fucking legends lately, like...
What? I don't think I recorded that, to be honest. I think the camera was off.
It's on now.
Yeah.
Failing. Fuck you, Master Al. Visit the stick spout.
So, what am I doing that's the same as that other one?
Oh, just more like the aggressive, like, fuck you, Swift Parrot.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Swift Parrot.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Swift Parrot.
Ready to replace him as leader with one of these birds.
Who's over there? What am I doing?
Elected again. Again. Him.
Do they try not to smile?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end?
I know you're happy about the resistance movement, but try not to smile.
Okay.
Resistance 4.
To defend themselves, forming a resistance movement which now controls most of the country, while elected...
Oh, yum. Thanks. Lucy just being set mum.
What do we like? Genius. Kudos to Dodgy. But we're gonna lock them anyway. Fuck you, taxpayers on the mainland, even though they are Christian.
Yeah, cool.
Yummy, making this fish shit sandwich takes a bit of prep, so pay attention.
I'm sure a parrot flew on this side.
Two-party system. Fuck you.
I didn't say fuck you. I'm a new character! Why the boss?
Those laws, not only have we not fixed them, we kept on using them to approve more coal and gas projects.
Today, we're looking on the government with stickers. Bye.
Good. Now please rise for our national anthem.
Okay, good. And now you're just like falling. Imagine.
Just out for a rip. And now you will pay.
Go over there.
And we're forced to approve them because of our broken environment laws. So remember, number F.
Great.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you
No.
See you around here.
Oh.
Right over there. Maybe over here.
Alright, do some monster dancing.
It's so big. Doing babies in another minute.
Oh, wow.
Choose between sugar to life.
My goodness. Oh, my next time.
My dad's working for the government. Yeah. Bye. Bye.